Hey guys, Lard here, and to this point we have our AI character who takes out the lightsaber and tries to attack us. But we don't receive any damage and we don't get damaged in any way, so that's one of the things that we would like to fix. And so in this particular tutorial we will discuss the concept of health. Before that, make sure if you encounter a situation where your behavior tree doesn't work right, make sure that, for example, your decorators and your tasks refer to correct entries here. So each of the blackboard key selector variables becomes an entry here which you can modify. And when I opened the project today, I had a target entry set to move destination. So it was trying to evaluate, is the move destination, which was vector of course, is it close to pawn, which didn't make sense because we were trying to get it as actor and we just failed. So make sure you have correct entries here. It works now. But let's touch upon the concept of health in the simplest manner possible as always. So we will have health on our third person character pawn, right? Because this is a pawn or character child, and it's both for us and for AI. AI is the child class of this guy. So first of all, the usual way how I do health is a vector 2D. Vector 2D is just basically a tuple of two floats. So we will just call it health, go here, variable type will be vector 2D. The downside of it is that when you change it you have to set Y as well, which will be max health. Let's do max health 100 out of 100, right? One more thing we have to do is, of course, we have to have some kind of visual indication of our health. One thing to do will be to use progress bar, and I have a tutorial on glowing progress bar, so here let's do maybe even simpler one. So we will go to our UI, create user interface, widget blueprint, health bar. Okay, open it. We have a UI editor here. So for our, what is it called, hierarchy of widgets, we will put here progress bar, just like that. And let's wrap it with overlay. And the reason why we wrap it with overlay is because we may want to have a text on top of it, right? Okay, canvas panel, let's replace it with child. This way we get rid of canvas panel. And here on the right, I suggest switching from fill screen to desired size. This way we will see the actual size of the widget here. Okay, we have a progress bar. It's not exactly nice in terms of size, so I also recommend wrapping these two guys with sizebox. Now sizebox allows us to kind of define what kind of width we want to have. So let's have a width of like 120. And the height will be like maybe 50. No, that's too much. Like 20 or even 12. Okay. So this guy will be horizontally filled and vertically filled. Okay. And the color will be something like Monakai red, one of my favorite colors. And let's fill it to see how it looks like, just like that. And let's also change the tint to something much darker, so it's not as lame. No offense, Epics, with your default progress bar color. Okay, that's not ideal. It's still a little funky with these shadows. I don't like them particularly, but it's good enough for us. So the simplest solution would be to go ahead and go to our Orion. Oh no, sorry, Orion is the name of the other project I'm working on. So it's LCC layer controller. And here in event graph, let's go ahead and take begin play event. And let's add to viewport. No, that's not the one. Yeah, let's create widget first. The name of the widget is health bar, of course. Just like that. We are the owning player, of course. Owning player is a controller reference, and it's really useful. I'll show you in a minute. And after we have this guy going on here, we can add to viewport. Problem will be it will be added on top of everything, on the bottom, sorry, on the left top. So let's see how it looks like. Yeah, that's not what we want, of course. Yeah, so for this reason, usually we have a HUD widget or heads-up display, which just sums up all the widgets that we are using, or we put them all together. So let's do that really quickly as well. We have LCC HUD, LCC HUD, and here we will place our health bar. We will size to content, and the anchor, let's take bottom center for the anchor. And the alignment is basically the point which is the kind of center of the pivot of the widget, right? So we want it to be 1 by y and 0.5 by x. This way, if we put 0, 0, we will put it straight on the bottom, exactly on the bottom. So for now, we just make it negative. Let's do negative 15, maybe. So this way, it's a little bit higher. Now notice I put here size to content. What's cool about it is that whenever you change anything about the size of this health bar with size box, if you want to have specific size, it will be reflected here. You don't have to change anything here. Okay, so now let's change it from health bar to LCC HUD. Play, and we have a small health bar on the bottom. Not really big enough for us, so let's make it like 250. Oops, no, that's too big. 250 and maybe 20, something like that. Is it big enough? I guess it is. One thing I don't like is that it's not, it's too low. So that's one of the things. You can put it on the screen with the widget component, but for now we do the simplest approach. So we just put it not in the game world, but on the screen. So let's do -100 or even -150. So what we can do is we can try to kind of guess where the player's bottom of their body will be, so that it looks like it's just on the bottom of the player frame, right? Like this is much better. In a duel, it makes sense that you can easily see your health without looking too much to the side of the screen, I guess. Okay, so we've got this thing going for us, which is fine. Now we need to make sure it changes with our health. That's really easy to do. When we go to the health bar, we can take the progress bar, create new binding for the percentage, which is exactly the value. So this goes from 0 to 1. 1 is filled, 0 is empty. Good. So now we go ahead and say get owning player, which will be our controller. But of course, we also have get owning player pawn, which will be a pawn of the owning controller already. Now we just cast to third-person character, and we do pure cast. We don't care. We are pretty sure it's third-person character, right? And then we take health. And so health is X and Y. X is current health, Y is max health. Useful for RPGs where max health can also increase or decrease, right? So we just divide X by Y, which will give us a range from 0 to 1, which is exactly what we need. Compile save, we get our health here. Nice. Okay, so our health doesn't decrease when he strikes us. Let's try to catch the moment when he strikes us to get at least certain idea of health decrease. And the next video we will make death. I realize that this video will be overly long if we try to fit death here as well. So let's delay this to next video. Okay. So what do we need here is we need some overlapping events, probably. Let's quickly check if this is the case by going to our lightsaber. So lightsaber blueprint has a blade, and let's see what kind of collision does the blade have. It has no collision. Okay, so maybe we try to do hit events with the blade, or with overlapping events. That's what I'm thinking. Actually, you know what? I think we do have collision enabled when the blade is on, otherwise we wouldn't be doing the sparks and everything. Turn on is turned on. Let's see references. Find references, get blade. That's not it. That's not it. Oh yeah, we're just tracing the hit locations. Tracing the blade socket locations. Okay, so it's gonna put additional load on us, but it's fine. Begin overlap, end overlap. Yeah, it makes sense that you should be damaged all the time. You know, if the blade is in you, you should be damaged, you know, every frame when the blade is in you. But for now, let's make it let's make it at least some kind of logic work here. So overlap only pawn. Let's do that. So overlapping events are not like hit events. They happen when it enters the thing, and then there's end overlap when it leaves the thing, the physical body. Okay, so let's see how we get in this event. So here in the lightsaber, we get blade, on component begin overlap. Let's create this event and put a breakpoint on it, right? Let's see if it does happen at any point in time. And doesn't seem like the event is firing at any time. Or maybe we get the wrong lightsaber. Yeah, so the guy is clearly hitting us. Let's also bring up our, let's see, third-person character. Take our capsule and disable hidden game so we can see our capsule. Also, let's look at our capsule and let's see the collision of the capsule. So it's pawn, collision enabled, overlaps pretty much everything except visibility. Visibility is ignored. And it's overlapping world dynamic. And if we go to lightsaber, the blade of a lightsaber, if we go to collision, it generates overlap events. It's world dynamic, so it should be overlapped by the guy, by the capsule. And let's see, pawn is overlapping. Okay, so it should work unless the collision is not there. So we can also do show collision. And you can see that our blade kind of looks like it has some collision there. But we're not getting any events. By the way, we can maybe check. Maybe this breakpoint doesn't work. So disable breakpoint and let's print whatever the thing is that we're colliding with or overlapping with. Begin overlap, yeah. So hello. Just come here. Yeah, okay, we're not getting any events. Several reasons why this is happening. Several reasons. So if we look at this shaped cylinder thing, if we are showing the let's look at the collision. Collision, simple collision. Yeah, complex collision. Yeah, so we should have collision. Okay, one thing we can do, we can also disable this lightsaber visibility so we can at least see the collision behind it. So go to rendering, hidden game. So now the blade will be hidden no matter what, but the collision will be shown. Okay, you can see that the blade clearly has collision. Okay, so there's something else. Well, what we can do is we can go ahead to collision and do overlap all dynamic, right? Let's see if this gives better results. See when he attacks us, what happens? Nothing. Okay, so you can see nothing is printed. And at this point, this is a situation which you need to debug because there's some kind of problem, something that is not working as you intended to work. So here we go. Let's pause the game at this point. Now we have all this stuff that was spawned dynamically in the world outline. There will be a little problem, I think, because we will not be able to get to the lightsaber. So let's quickly check our lightsaber thing. It may be possible that for the child actors it's not possible to get the collision, even though it doesn't make too much sense. But the problem here with lightsabers that we're not getting to see it, and it's collision profiles. Oops. Yeah. So what we can do, of course, we can place it on the level somewhere here. And then when the game starts, of course, we can just go ahead and look at the lightsaber. Let's not distract ourselves with this guy. Okay, so here's this lightsaber, the blade. The collision is there, definitely. So what we can do is we can go here, eject. And we can even see some stuff there. Yeah, so for whatever reason this doesn't work as we intended to work. Well, we can do a couple of things here and add what will be capsule collision, maybe it might work fine. Okay. Let's do capsule collision here. And so capsule collision by default overlaps all dynamic. On component begin overlap, we just add it here once again. Get display mesh for other actor, and remove this guy. Take the blade, remove all the collision from the blade. Doesn't generate overlap events, that's fine. And now we go back to the blade also. Sorry, I forgot. Okay, now not hidden in the game, so I actually didn't put it there. Okay, good. So take this thing. We have our capsule, or yeah, capsule collision. So now let's try to make it maybe. Oops, I think it's gonna freeze on me because I moved the mouse too fast. Or not. Okay. So let's put here half height. What will be half height? Something like 500 maybe, because we're kind of scaled down. Yeah, let's just check that. Also, what is the blade, turn on blade Z scale 4.5? So we can of course kind of put 4.5 here and see how would it look like. And now we can say maybe it's like 300, maybe even less, like 225. Now we kind of get the whole blade, and the radius is also fine for us. Maybe make it like 50. Okay, so we've got this guy going. Bring Z for the blade to 0. Oh, and the engine crashed. That's just fine. That's when you have no C++ code and the engine crashes because of this, then you know that stuff is up. Sorry, this video will be longer than I intended because of this stuff. Just know that this stuff happens. Okay. Oops. Right. So now I need to stretch my window once again and restore whatever was opened, and probably we didn't. Well, actually we did get the save. We'll go to lightsaber, and yeah, it's here. Okay, so let's see if the situation improved. And we play. Yeah, it looks like we're definitely getting some collision there. Yeah. And this guy is now overlapping with us, I think. Okay. So now if we're not overlapping with own-in-char, so whoever is the guy who we're overlapping with is not the own-in-char, and also let's check for us. So the other actor is not this or self. So these two things are the situations where we ignore the overlap. In all other cases, we can just apply damage. Right? So if this is not the case, then apply damage. Let's make it like 25 or even like 40 damage. Yeah, maybe let's keep 25. Okay, I'm gonna close this window as well. Okay, so we've got 25 damage causer. You can put here like this. So this lightsaber, and even instigator is own-in-char get controller. So this is usually used for multiplayer and replication, but this is fine for us. We can just fill these things there. Okay, so we apply 25 damage. And damage system is integrated into Unreal. So when this guy applies damage to this object of this class, we can just say, how do we process this damage? Well, event any damage right here. And let's take our health. Actually, okay, first, as always, we print string and make sure that it works, right? Compile save. Good. Oops. Okay, so let's see if he gives out any damage for us. He definitely does. I think there were some extra there was some extra damage, yeah, because he was overlapping with our capsule. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're not overlapping with the vision capsule. And this is easy to do, but for now we just go to collision for the lightsaber and say overlap only pawn. Let's see if it increases if it improves the situation. Yeah, so we're getting all of these overlaps. We need to make sure that lightsaber is on. So is turned on is also here set to true. Now there will be no events, and now he turns on the lightsaber and boom, boom, he starts hitting us. Okay, so now it's time for us to take some HP out of here. So we get our health once again, we split it, and then we hold Alt and carry here to set it. And so this is the gimmick about having health in vector 2D. You have to just channel Y, so Y doesn't change, we're not changing the max health, but this one is, well, we take X health and we subtract the amount of damage we received, and then we place it here. And this is where you would implement your armor or whatever else you have, like absorption, you know, reflection of damage and whatever else. Okay, so let's see how well does it work for us now. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, there was an extra point there, I think. We're not gonna care too much about it. For now, let's just, before we end this video, I will show you a quick situation with dev. So we split the set health after we set it, because this is the result, and if X is smaller or equals to 0, well, I think because we're using default mesh, we have also our physics asset. So I just search for the mesh, I see physics asset, and if I use it, it works. So it's kind of full-fledged physics asset. So as far as I remember, we take this guy, set all bodies simulate physics, and we set it to true. If I remember correctly, this is all we need to do to start ragdoll. So we will fall to the ground. Let's see if this is the case. So if X of our health, so if our current health is smaller than 0, then this happens. So let's see if this is the case. And it is, but we fall through the ground. And probably it's because this guy has character mesh collision. So what I would do probably is I would take the mesh and set collision profile name. Yeah, it has no physical collision. Yeah, so now what we do is we set collision profile to one of those presets, which they're called presets here, but they're actually collision profiles. Block all dynamic is usually my option. Block all dynamic. Here we go. Think this should fix it. Let's see if it does. Okay. So he attacks us, and oh, where did we go? I have no idea. I think our body just flew somewhere. Notice how the camera stays. So again, this requires some work. And yeah, he just kicks the crap out of our body. Okay, yeah, so we need to improve our mass probably or something like that. Let's see if we can quickly do this once again before video is ended. Mass scale, yeah, just let's put here like 10, which theoretically increases our mass by 10. Notice that the last attack is not what you expect. Yeah, okay, he's still flying off like crazy. Probably it's not a mass, it's some other weird thing. So if we just, oops, we put here like 1000. I think the lightsaber actually kicks us. Yeah, that's the case. And this doesn't change anything. So what you can do is you can say set velocity, set all physics linear velocity. So after this all happened, of course, we can kind of say that, you know, just reset our velocity. There's no acceleration. I think the lightsaber can still send us flying. So if this is the case, then we will go to next video and then we will fix it. Yeah, so we're still flying like crazy. So yeah, because the lightsaber probably applies the acceleration in the next frame after we enable the physics and everything. And of course, this is fixable even quicker by just doing a delay here and maybe delaying like by 0.5. But again, this is not a real fix, so we will have to dig deeper into it. Ooh, he's so angry. He's just cutting through everything. And this is better, so you can see that the body only flew there, and we can still walk because we don't have anything disabled. And the guy is still crazy, he still thinks that we're alive, so a lot of things to fix there. I think just to make it like a legit death, we will go ahead and disable the controls. So get controller, because Pawn has controller, and disable input for, remember that we need to cast this guy to player controller, cast to player controller. We can do pure cast, we're sure, and we disable input for this guy. I think this pretty much makes it work. Let's see. Please notice me. Yes. And we flew off, and you can see that we cannot control our body. Okay, so this is like the stupidest way to do death with ragdoll, which is flying over the place. Yeah, so sorry this video took so long. But the next video we will do actual proper death and respawning as well, if we will have enough time. Thank you for watching, and see you next video. Bye bye.